Jackson finished up the last of his final exams. He was a freshman in college, and the nerd of his group, as his friends referred to him. Jackson never much cared for the name-calling, however he had accepted his fate. Alex was his best friend. He was tall and very lanky, but a very good athlete. He was team captain of their intramural flag football team, as well as a former high school track runner. He was from a town nearby the campus, so he knew the surrounding area very well. Donnie, on the other hand, was the complete opposite of Alex in almost every way. He was short and stocky and very loud. He was always getting into trouble, constantly saying what's on his mind, without sparing anyone's feelings. At least you could say he's honest. The group of four had one thing in common: a love for the woods. The campus was surrounded on three sides by a state park, literally hundreds of miles of forest. The gang hiked the trails so often that first semester, some of the park rangers even learned their names. Their favorite ranger was Gary. Gary was about 40 years old and balding. Despite having a slight beer belly, he was in great shape and could traverse even the most advanced trails. Gary was also an avid storyteller. He told the boys about many well-known urban legends. One of which, however, would change the lives of every single one of them. The story of the Phantom. That night, aided by the light of a campfire, Gary began his story. The legend goes back long ago. The Phantom, as he's called, is a terrifying beast unlike any other. He's tall and slender with a blank white face. No eyes, no mouth, no ears. A blank white face. He wears a black suit with black pants and a black tie. According to legend, he loves children. Like a creep? Donnie interrupted. Shut up, Donnie. Let him tell the story, Sam said, punching Donnie in the arm. Okay, Gary, keep going. Anyways, like I was saying, he mostly goes after children. He can be seen in a lot of photographs in the background with children playing on swing sets and stuff. Legend has it, many of the children in these photographs later go missing or die mysteriously. Their deaths and disappearances are believed to be the work of this skinny, slender man that appears in the background. There have actually been sightings of him in these woods, first of which was in 1952 by a kid named Jimmy. Jimmy and his friend Harold were playing near these woods down by Clifton, a nearby town. Jimmy one day ran home crying, saying there was a skinny man in a suit that took Harold. When asked to describe the man, Jimmy replied, "He's the man with no face." The police searched for Harold for 2 months before closing the case. 5 days after the case was closed, officers found his body mangled in a ditch near Tasbury Creek. The cause of death was unknown. However, he had only been dead for a few days. The next sighting was in 1987 by a group of high school students who were getting high in these woods. One of them left the campgrounds to go pee and returned 3 hours later pale, covered in bruises and scrapes. He had claimed to see a tall, pale man in the middle of the woods. In his trance, he followed the man to Tasbury Creek, where he saw a horrendous sight. He saw... What did he see? Interrupted Donnie. They all stared at him, annoyed. Jeez, Don, can I just tell the story? Gary responded. Alright. He claims that he saw the mutilated bodies of 5 or 6 children. He looked back up at the man in disbelief, only to see long, black, tentacle-like things growing from his back. They flailed violently in the air. The kid began to black out, so he looked away and ran back to camp. All the cuts and scrapes were from thorns and branches that smacked into his face while he was running in the dark. They went to the police, but the bodies were never found. The last sighting is very similar to the first one. You boys haven't heard about this as it hasn't gone public yet. I've got a buddy who works at the police station who told me to keep it on the down low, so don't tell anyone. A group of kids were with their parents while hiking on one of the easy trails. The oldest was a boy who was about 8. There's also a girl who's 6 and another boy who's 3. The mom went down to tie her shoe. When she looked back up after tying them, her kids were gone. all except the 8-year-old. He claims that the no-face man took Sissy and Bubby into the woods. Neither of them have been found yet. Jackson thought about the story. He was really curious about the missing kids. Is it true? Is everything true? It can't be, but what if? What do you think, Jackson? Alex asked. What? Replied Jackson, being pulled back into reality. Do you think it's real? Donnie asked. I mean, he thought, maybe. Do you seriously believe him? Donnie laughed. It's definitely not real. What the hell, Donnie? Sam said. You were scared? I could tell that you were believing it. Nuh-uh. If you don't think it's real, then why don't you go look for the kids? Maybe I will. Boys, Gary interjected. Neither of you will be looking for the kids. One, it's too dangerous. You guys could easily get lost on these trails. Trust me. And two, I wasn't supposed to tell you about the missing kids in the first place. All right, the two groaned. The 5 of them sat quietly around the fire. Around midnight, the 5 went their separate ways. Jackson lied in bed awake, thinking about the story. Suddenly, he got a text from Alex. Alex, you up? Jackson, yeah? Alex, are you thinking about the story? Jackson, yeah, are you? Alex, yeah, LOL. Do you think we should look for the kids? Jackson, I don't know. Gary said not to. Alex, oh, come on, it'll be fun. Sam and Donnie will think you're a wuss if you don't come with us. Jackson, they already think I'm a wuss. Alex, just come on. Jackson, when? Alex, do you have class tomorrow? Jackson, nah, I finished all my finals. Alex, good. Meet us at the park tomorrow at 6 a.m. Oh, bring your BB gun. Jackson, alright. Jackson barely got any sleep that night. When his alarm went off, he quickly jumped out of bed. He got dressed in his jeans, camo jacket, and tennis shoes, grabbed his BB gun, and left. He was the last to arrive at the entrance of the park. No rangers were there as the park didn't open till 9. Hey, look who it is. I didn't think you were going to show, said Sam. Well, I'm here, aren't I? Jackson said rhetorically. The 4 boys hopped over the rusty barbed wire and began walking towards the trail where the kids disappeared. I've got a bad feeling, said Donnie. Yeah, what if we get caught? Jackson added. Stop being a wuss, said Sam as he led the group off the trail and into the woods. You know what? Alex said. All these stories had to do with Tasbury Creek, maybe we should head over there. But that's like a mile away, said Donnie. Come on, said Sam, trying to be the leader. He began jogging to the creek through the thick brush and low-hanging tree branches. His jog soon turned to a sprint as he and Alex arrived at the creek, barely breaking a sweat, while Jackson and Donnie appeared completely out of breath nearly a minute later. So, Jackson said, hunched over, what now? Donnie and I'll head north. You two will follow the creek south. Meet back here in 2 hours? Alright, Alex agreed as the two separated. Jackson walked alongside Alex. Do you think we'll find anything? Asked Jackson. Probably not, laughed Alex. Then why the hell are we risking jail time to look for 2 kids we know nothing about and probably won't even find? Alex shrugged. I don't know. They continued their hike for a little while, the sun rising towards the east. A cool breeze blew from the west, sending a chill down Jackson's spine. He had his finger on the trigger of his BB gun, ready to fire at a moment's notice. Did he really believe the stories about the Phantom? Of course not, but what if? Just then, Alex stopped. Look, he whispered, pointing into the woods on the other side of the creek. Jackson pointed his rifle in the direction. Alex pushed the rifle down. Relax, dude. Just a deer. The deer looked up. Jackson saw it. It saw Jackson. Looked away for a second before sprinting off deeper into the woods. You know, Alex, Jackson started, you kind of run like a deer. The two laughed as they resumed their hike. Well, I mean, you're really fast and skinny. I don't know. The way you jump over the logs while you run through the woods, it's just, can't quite put my tongue on it. Okay, Alex replied. The two continued to hike along Tasbury Creek until the faint sounds of the highway could be heard. They decided to turn around and head back. As they did, something in the corner of Jackson's eye moved. He turned his head quickly to see nothing. "What is it?" asked Alex. "Nothing," Jackson said, still staring across the creek. "Just keep walking." "What the heck?" Alex said, pointing at a small blue sneaker in the middle of the path. Was that there before?" "I didn't see it," said Jackson suspiciously. He picked it up. It was very small, like the kind a toddler would wear. The two looked at each other confused and frightened. They continued their hike towards the meeting spot. They got there before Donnie and Sam. "What are we going to tell them?" asked Alex. I don't know," said Jackson. "I mean, we can't tell Gary. He would get mad at us for sneaking into the park and not taking his advice." "All right," Jackson agreed. "We'll tell Sam and Donnie, but let's make sure to keep it between us." "Hey, ladies," Sam said. "Find anything?" "Just a shoe," Alex said, as Jackson held it up. "It's probably not important," said Sam. "It's just a random shoe." "Look how new it is, though," Jackson said. It's barely even dirty." "He's right," said Donnie. "Shut up," said Sam. "Quit bossing me around," replied Donnie. "That shoe probably belonged to that boy." I don't know. Well, maybe," said Sam, not really expecting Donnie to be standing up for himself. "Let's just call it quits today and go grab some grub." The boys left the park. Jackson stopped and looked back down at the creek. The wind blew slightly, sending chills up his spine. His gut was telling him he shouldn't have come. He dismissed it, ran a few yards to catch up with his friends.